I think 2 days back, I came here and told you that United are going to hate to put in their first approach to Bayern Munich, meaning that they made an official approach to Bayern Munich on the sale of Pavard, and obviously results are through or are back. And guess what? The first Pavard's approach has been rejected by Bayern Munich. Remember, Pavard is a player who plays for Bayern Munich, and the first approach has been rejected by side of Bayern Munich. Welcome to United Matters channel. How are you guys? And we're watching us from? I'll go by the names of Rock and David. Smash the like button, comment and share. For watching us for the very first time, endeavor to subscribe to this channel so as not to miss out on stories that we do upload in here on a daily. Now, after that, we are going also to discuss about what Ten Hag is going to hate to say about Harry Maguire and what his plans are for this season, meaning that we might be seeing something very important as far as Ten Hag and Harry Maguire's future is concerned at Man United. And lastly, we're going to talk about Dean Henderson. What's the plans of Eric Ten Hag? Looks like it is going to hate to turn in the right way, and Ten Hag is going to hate to convince Dean Henderson, and maybe we might see him stay at Manchester United after we saw Matt Turner join the club of Nottingham Forest, and it was in between the stitches as Arsenal beat Nottingham Forest by 2-1. Now, Fabrizio Romano came out and obviously said the following about the first approach of United to obviously convince Bayern to take in Benjamin Pavard. He said Bayern Munich rejected United first approach for Benjamin Pavard as reported on Saturday, but Man United remained there as Benjamin Pavard wants the move. He won't sign a new deal at Bayern Munich and insists to leave. Now, this is where Bayern Munich have been caught in between the rock and the hard place. The player wants to leave the club of Bayern Munich, and if at all they don't sell him this summer, he might find himself signing a pre-contract with Man United in January to join them on a free. And Bayern Munich have failed culprits on several occasions in such situations. Remember, in I think was it 2018, 2019, Jordi Alba was one of those players that Madrid wanted to cash in for, but get to cash out for, but Bayern was not willing to cash in for the player. When the player ran his contract down, they thought that maybe he would obviously sign or renew his contract, but he didn't, and went to Real Madrid on a free. Last summer, Nicolas Schule ended up leaving Bayern Munich on a free and played for Borussia Dortmund, and this is another player that they can get some 10 million euros from him because he is really some good quality player and he's wanted by Eric Ten Hag. United had a list of 3 central defenders to look at. That is Pavard, there was Tapsoba, and the other one came in through as Todibo. Now, Todibo is another one that Ten Hag is keeping a keen eye on, but the problem is Todibo is going to be an expensive player because Nice might call in for close to 40 million euros or 35 million euros, something that United believe it will overstretch their budget, as they want to get in a right back that is really cheaper and can get the job done. And as I told you yesterday, that Pavard even played into the DFL Cup, and he really had a very good display into the mix, and obviously put up one of the most thrilling adventures into the game that saw Bayern lose to RB Leipzig by 3-0. They are pushing hard, but I think the player's already going to have to make up his mind that he wants to leave the club of Bayern Munich, and it's not unusual for United to come in for the player like Pavard. And obviously, remember, even in the January transfer window, United was so much linked to Pavard, but they never had money to pay in through because Ten Hag was looking in for right back to come in through and obviously play into that right back position of Man United, as United was willing to obviously offload Aaron Wan-Bissaka. But as it stands, it's obviously Pavard in the mix, considered by Eric Ten Hag as a right-sided centre back to come in through and obviously do what Harry Maguire is gonna and do exactly what Harry Maguire has failed to do for the club of Manchester United. And it looks like United are going to go on and obviously push for the move, because the player is also pushing, and Bayern don't want to lose this player on a free. If they want to lose him on a free, then they keep him and he runs his contract down. But if you're Bayern Munich, you're going to have to spend 120 million euros onto Harry Kane, you've spent close to 50 million euros onto Kim Min-jae. Would like to obviously make some sales of players like Pavard, who you love but don't want to stay at the club. Looks like Thomas Tuchel is really a fan or an admirer of Pavard, but even if he keeps on that, I don't see him getting the best that he deserves to get from this player, because nothing is going to obviously be orchestrated in a perfect move. However professional Benjamin Pavard is, because his heart is no longer at Munich and its heartbeats have moved from Munich to Manchester down in United Kingdom. That is it coming in from Fabrizio Romano as far as Pavard's approach being rejected, but United are going to keep pushing for the player of the caliber of Benjamin Pavard. So let's wait and see how that pans out, but I would like to call upon your reactions about this rejected Benjamin Pavard approach by Manchester United into the comment section below. Now, let's talk about the player who Benjamin Pavard is coming in to replace. That is Harry Maguire. That is Harry Maguire. And Harry Maguire is really one of those that you obviously want to hear about, because West Ham and United agreed a deal in principle of £30 million for Harry Maguire, but guess what? Nothing has gone ahead to accelerate ever since then, because there is still a lot to agree on the amount of money that United is supposed to pay in for Harry Maguire. Now, Ten Hag has been asked about Harry Maguire. He said for Harry, he has to fight for his place. He has the ability to be a top-class centre-back. He's the best for England, so why shouldn't he be the best for us? But he has to prove it. And when Ten Hag says that Harry Maguire has to prove it, it's like telling us that he no longer needs him at the club of Manchester United. Do you know why? Things that Harry Maguire has to do to really prove to Erik Ten Hag that he can beat the other two forwards, so the other two centre forwards, that is Lisandro Martinez and Rafael Varane, are really natural disabilities for Harry Maguire. He can't be fast like Lisandro Martinez, Victor Lindelof, Rafael Varane, Luke Shaw, and even John Evans is really a fast centre-back than Harry Maguire. We have to all admit to that. Then, his game reading cannot improve at that age. You know, he's 30 and he just deserves to be playing in a team that plays a low block. He plays good for England, as Ten Hag has gone ahead to say, but at England, he only plays in a low block, you know? And every time they face weak teams, that's when England plays a high line. You'll never see England playing a high line when it's playing France, Brazil, Netherlands, and very many other big teams. That's why Harry Maguire looks good at England. But he needs to obviously put in the shift, which shift he can't put in through. And it's a confirmation that Ten Hag no longer needs him at the club of Manchester United. Then Erik Ten Hag on Harry Maguire again said, when he's not confident enough to go with that fight for his place, then he has to go. He has to make the decision. But I'm happy with him. We don't have a squad with 11 players. Now, when you look at Harry Maguire and all what is transpiring in his life at Manchester United, this is the final nail in the coffin from Harry Maguire, from Erik Ten Hag, that he doesn't need him at the club of Manchester United. Look at this statement. When he's not confident enough to go with that fight for his place, then he has to go. Have you heard that? He has to make the decision, because what United did was to agree a deal with West Ham of £30 million, and they are okay to take it in, but Harry Maguire is still wanting some money to come in from Man United. United are offering him £6 million, something that Harry Maguire looks like it's not all that great, because he still has a long contract to serve at Manchester United. I've told you that Harry Maguire earns £200,000 a week, and if you multiply it by 52 weeks, that's close to £11 million a year. And his contract is expiring in 2026 with a further option of one, meaning that he still has like 3 years on his contract at Manchester United, meaning that those are like £33 million. Going to West Ham, his salary is going to be higher. He's going to be earning £100,000 a week, and Harry Maguire will be making a loss of what is a half of that money? Will be making a loss of close to £16 million. Out of the £16 million, United is only willing to pay only £6 million of that amount of money, and to let him really leave the club of Manchester United. That is it, and that is the business that United really want to play between them and Harry Maguire. But wait and see. After Ten Hag is going to hate to sound that Harry Maguire has to go. And you know, this is one of the things I like about the manager of Man United, because he'll obviously call a spade, and this time around he has gonna hate to obviously call it a spade, because it's one of those things that you obviously understand that he is really ready to obviously come up through and obviously do the needful for the club of Manchester United, obviously cleanse it and obviously get in the best of the players. But we all know that Harry Maguire is not a class of Man United. He's not needed by Erik ten Hag, though in his first season he obviously had to soothe him at the beginning of the season. He even costed us the first 2 games against Brighton and Brentford. That's when Erik ten Hag got a wake-up call and said, Harry Maguire off to the bench, Varane come into my starting 11, and obviously the rest was history. And after those some good games, we went unbeaten and we obviously performed very well. We all got to know that Ten Hag has now found his best central defensive partnership, and that was Alexander Martinez and Varane. Harry Maguire kept that season as the captain of Man United, but Ten Hag knew that the real captain on the pitch was Bruno Fernandes. That's why before we even went into other games, Ten Hag came out and announced that Bruno Fernandes is the new captain of the club of Man United, and Harry Maguire knew that this is the end of him. And finally, Ten Hag is going to have to speak out that he can go if at all he cannot get into the first starting 11 of Manchester United. That's it coming from the gaffer. And now let's talk about Dean Henderson. The goalkeeping situation is really tricky at Man United, and we've been told by Erik ten Hag that he was always in mind. He's talking about Dean Henderson, so I think we have a strong keeper group with Onana, Henderson, and Heaton. But for Dean Henderson, I don't see him as a player who is going to be happy at Manchester United. Tim Heaton, I think will be okay at the club of Man United, but Dean Henderson will always call in for more games to play at Man United. Something that I don't believe Erik ten Hag is going to go on and obviously do, because games are available for him to play at the FA Cup and Carabao Cup, you know. And I don't know whether sometimes Onana is going to be benched and not play in the Champions League for him to ever get enough playing time, even in the Premier League, because Dean Henderson might have gone ahead to prove to Erik ten Hag that I'm obviously one of these players that you need to obviously get into where you want us to be. And that obviously boils into another scenario that is going to have to give us the best of luck that we're going to have to see at this club of Manchester United, because when you look at Dean Henderson, he's a very good goalkeeper. That is it. Still young, I think 24, 25 years of age. And if at all you're having him as a backup choice goalkeeper, it's really something strong. And the problem will obviously result into Erik ten Hag not fulfilling the promises he has gone ahead to make to Dean Henderson to keep at Man United. And United also are not the ones to blame, because they'll tell Dean Henderson, tell your agent to get a club and we are going to sell you, because Nottingham Forest wanted to sign him on a loan with an option to buy if they stay into the Premier League. So a team that obviously say they don't have money to buy him went ahead and paid £10 million to Arsenal to sign Matt Turner, meaning that the first choice position is not there for him. So let's wait and see how that pans out. But Dean Henderson might stay at Man United and obviously compete with Andre Onana. Obviously, it helps us to obviously push Andre Onana to give us more than what he provided at Ajax and Inter Milan, because he never had backup goalkeepers or his understudies as good as Dean Henderson. Your thoughts on first Benjamin Pavard's approach rejected by Bayern Munich are welcome in the comment section below. What do you make about Ten Hag tells Harry Maguire to go publicly? And lastly, what are your thoughts when it comes to Dean Henderson? Ten Hag confirming that he's going to stay at the club of Manchester United. I cover you all in the precious blood of Jesus Christ. May the living to God bless you abundantly. Rock and David remains my name. My Muslim viewers and subscribers, Barakallahu Fikum. Ciao, ciao.